Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lizzie, and for today's About Time review, we're talking about Us. So if you are new to my channel and you don't know what an About Time review is, basically it's where I review a film that is kind of talked about or popular within the horror community for their good or bad reasons, and it's just something that I have yet to see. I've done a couple of these before, so I will leave a link in the description along with any other videos that I talk about. So if you don't know what Us is, it is Jordan Peele's second horror film, and it focuses on this family who goes on vacation and has a bit of a home invasion situation. Now, when I do these reviews, I do generally tend to do spoilers with these. I know my regular reviews, I kind of try to avoid spoilers, but with these ones, these are usually films that I feel like a majority of people, especially my viewers, have probably already seen. So spoiler warning, if you have not seen this one, if you're like me, for whatever reason, you kept putting this one off. Now, this is not something that I put off intentionally. I actually had all intentions of seeing this film. I did enjoy Get Out. I think I did a review of that one. Like I said, link will be in the description if I did. And I had all intents and purposes of seeing this one. Just for whatever reason, it didn't happen. I didn't get to see it in theaters, and then it just kind of like left my mind, and I didn't even really think about it until I was actually looking for something to rent on Redbox, and this one popped up, and I was like, oh yeah, I definitely need to watch that. Now, to get into a little bit more detail about this film, like I said, you have this family who they're on vacation when all of a sudden another family shows up and kind of starts doing a bit of a home invasion on them, and they realize that this family is identical copies to them, which then initiates this kind of monologue story that the mother figure, I've seen her referred to as Red. I don't think she's referred to that in the film, but just by the horror community, so we're gonna refer to her as Red, and she gives this monologue story basically about how they are the shadow versions of the people, and they are all tethered together, and the shadow versions have spent basically their entire lives being forced to reenact what is going on with the non-shadow versions of the people, and they basically have no free will, and you actually feel kind of sorry for them a little bit, especially for her, because she does kind of go into some of the details of some of the things that she had to go through, and so they're basically there to seek revenge, which gets like a little bit blurry. There's kind of like multiple things that they're doing. They obviously come to the surface and start trying to like kill off their like non-shadow versions or whatever. But then also like they form this kind of union group where they're all like connecting hands in like a very Hands Across America style, which they get into the film. I'm not gonna go into too much about all of that. So that they don't go into a whole lot of detail as to, I mean, you know why they have the idea of the Hands Across America. You don't really know exactly why they're doing it. There's definitely some details within this film that are left out, but it's definitely a really good film. I don't feel like it didn't terrify me so much by any means. I definitely feel like Get Out was a little bit scarier, but it did keep me on the edge of the couch, and I was really wondering what was going to happen next. There were definitely some like shock moments within the film, but there were, like I said, there were stuff that I feel like they didn't give enough detail on, and it could just be that it's one of those films that you need to watch more than once, so maybe, I will have to give it a second watch to get some of those details, so I'm definitely sure there's like a lot of hidden details within this film. One of the things that I noticed right away was the amount of detail when it comes to the white rabbits. There's multiple references to it, so you do kind of feel like they're going to have this much bigger part, and they do have a part within the film, but I guess it's not what I expected going into it, so I'm sure there's like other things like that, other little Easter eggs that maybe I missed, but all in all, I thought it was a really good film. Now, I know that a lot of people, there's always debate, especially with like Jordan Peele films, about whether or not people consider them to actually be horror films. Now, I have an entire video about that subject, which again, I will leave a link to in the description so that you can check that out. So, like, I don't want to debate about that on this video. We can leave that to debate to the other video that I made all about it. But like I said, all in all, in general, I did really like this film. I thought it was great, and I'm excited to see what Jordan Peele does next, and I'm excited to see Lupita do more. I think that she definitely could become a horror icon, and I hope to see her do more. I think really the entire cast of this movie did a great job. I mean, you have people who are having to play multiple, who are playing two different versions of themselves, two very like opposite versions of themselves. And I feel like everybody, and definitely the children, did such a fantastic job. Now this movie does have a twist ending, which I felt like was kind of straightforward, but I did kind of do a little reading, and it did say that, you know, some people, that it could be interpreted in different ways for different people. I thought it was a pretty straightforward twist. So again, big old spoiler alert if you have not seen this film, but you basically find out that the two mother characters, the like real one and like real one, human one, whatever, the non-shadow version, and the shadow version, the red character, were actually switched as children. And the one that's been up on the surface is actually supposed to be the shadow one, which, to be honest, I was not a big fan of that, like, twist ending. I thought that it was a little bit unnecessary. I kind of liked the idea of what we already had. We had the story of these people that, you know, because of the fact that these two women ran into each other as children. They, you know, found out about each other, basically. Red would not, she even said that she would not have known about any of this if it wasn't for them running into each other as children. And so and I liked that. I feel like they could have just stuck with that, but instead they like switched it up. So the shadow version was actually on the surface living this life, this good life, and then you had the real version, non-shadow version, who was forced to live the shadow's life, and it makes it all twisty and way more complicated. And I feel like they could have just stuck with what they already had, and that would have just been perfectly fine. So I wasn't a huge fan of the way that this film ended, unfortunately. But again, all in all, I did like the film. It was just that little twist ending I was a huge, super big fan of. So let me know what you guys think of us in the comments below. And if you did enjoy this review, please do give it a big old thumbs up and make sure that you hit the subscribe button for more horror related content. And I'll see you guys later with another video. Bye.